Hello and welcome back to my channel. So we're just going to jump straight into it in this video. I'm still trying to figure out the best format for recording my coaching calls. So bear with me if this changes over the next couple of videos that I put out. Luckily, my coach recorded the session, and so I'll just be kind of jumping in every few minutes to kind of explain what's going on. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it.
So, should I form like?
No, be yourself. Be yourself, please.
Okay.
Put this here. Hopefully this thing is working.
So, what do we have today?
I think we can revisit our first discussion to actually clarify, I guess, our goals and objectives for these calls.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you, what is the name of this business?
What is the name? What is the name of your business? So this was a triggering question for me, and this was just in the first 5 minutes of the call. It wasn't triggering in a bad way, but let me explain. So I actually don't have a name for my business yet, or at the time of this coaching call, I didn't have a name for it. And it's so funny because I actually just put out a video talking about the title of that video was reality. Your reality is perception. And I was talking about how to use social media to become the person who you want to be. And in that video, I talked about analysis paralysis and how I suffer from that sometimes, in that I think about things so much that it causes inaction. So when he asked this question, it triggered me in that way because I've been thinking about a name for the business and I haven't found a name that I liked, or honestly, it's just me overthinking it. So when he asked this question, you can see by my response, I don't have a name, and I was a little bit triggered by it. So let's jump back into it to see what I said, because I actually don't remember now. So right now, I think that's what I have a name, but I don't know if I want to stick with that name. Because I think there's two things kind of going on right now. I'm trying to build my personal brand, and I'm also trying to build my business. And we didn't really talk about this on our consultation call, but afterwards I was thinking about it, and I think I have a more clear vision as to what I want to do. There's some content that I want for my personal brand, and I don't know if I don't think our discussion or our kind of collaboration will necessarily be about my personal brand. I think it's more so the business side. But I'm just talking out loud to kind of help myself think through this. So I think our collaboration is more so on the business side, trying to build the business plan, and everything else that goes into that. So
why do you want to
what was that?
Why do you want to restrict it?
Well, I don't necessarily want to restrict it, but maybe when I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't, in my mind, sometimes I'm trying to make that line of what's my personal brand and what's my business. And maybe we can talk about both of them. But I just don't want the two to mix. I think there will be some overlap, but I want there to be a clear delineation of who is Onyeka Uche and what is my business.
Okay. Of course, that is one of the best things to do. If I get it clear, you want to be different. But this your last statement it's the answer to your question. You want to be different and your business is different. Because it's always good for you to create that uniqueness so that you're not your business. You are different.
Yeah.
Your business is different. Or the business can be sold while you still maintain your person. And truthfully, people people appeal more, or people relate more with individuals than brands. If you go to Tesla, Tesla has followers, but Elon Musk has more followers than Tesla. The same thing with many other brands. You get it?
Yeah.
So it's always good to know that you're different from your business. But that
Yes.
being said, it's also good for, because what led us to this is that I asked you, what is the name of the business? What I'm thinking about it, I want to be relating to something. Oh, this is what I'm thinking about. You understand? So I'm thinking about the business. I want to have something in my head that is
Mhm.
playing, that is playing around, that is telling me, okay, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this, this is what I'm talking about, this is what it's gonna do. I have an idea tomorrow, and let me use what will be nice if this is happening. It would be nice if we apply this to, like, that's what I'm thinking. So
Okay.
when we give something a name, when we give something a name, it becomes more real to us. It
Mhm.
matters more to us. That's why your pet cannot be anything to you unless the pet has a name, right? And so that's why, first of all, we need to have a name. We need to have
Yeah.
a name. The name might not be perfect now, though. When I was starting this business coaching thing, learning my way around, if you go to some places, you will see they will make it so much. They will put so much force on you having a name, which of course makes sense. But I've come to see that there's some people that have names that don't make sense, and what they do makes the name make sense. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Now, a good name, a name that describes what you're doing, is probably an advantage. But we've seen in situations where some persons don't have a so wonderful name.
So a few things to unpack here. So when I first started this channel, Life on Corporate was the name that came to me. And let me give a little bit of background. In the past, all of my creations, all of my things I've kind of put out there for people have been, the name of that thing has just come to me. I don't ever have to think too hard about it. Like the name just comes. Like I don't sit there and try to think of a name. The name comes to me, if that makes sense. So in creating this YouTube channel, the name Life Uncorporate came to me with the help of ChatGPT a little bit. But the name Life Uncorporate came to me, and I really, like, right off the bat with that name and with other names of different businesses or different ideas I've had in the past, when the name comes to me, it's automatically like, I love it. I'm at peace with it. Let's run with it. That's always the feeling that I have. So when I originally started this channel, Life Uncorporate, and I've talked about this in previous videos, that I'm trying to build my personal brand and I'm trying to build my business, and I want to have a clear line between the two. So Life Uncorporate was actually supposed to be the name of my personal brand, but when I started putting out content, it was more so geared towards business. So right now, I still like the name Life on Corporate, and uh, Casey is the name of my business coach. Casey also recommended, or said he liked that name for a personal brand also. So the name of this channel may change to Onyeka Uche dash Life on Corporate. As I mentioned, like, I want to still incorporate my name, but at the same time, yeah. So that's that. For the business side of things, as Casey was saying, like, you want to be separate from your business, right? When you think of Elon Musk and you think of Tesla, those are two separate entities. Like, you don't ever intertwine the, of course you intertwine the two in the sense that Elon Musk is the creator of Tesla, but Elon Musk is his own brand, his own man, his own kind of, you think of, depending on your view of him, if you think of certain things when it comes to Elon Musk, whether it be positive or negative, and then you think of Tesla separately. So that's how I want to be perceived, and that's how I want to set up my business and my personal brand to be completely separate.
It could just be a name that, okay, for example, Airbnb. I mean, if you ask what is Airbnb, before you know what Airbnb is doing, you may not even relate it from. I don't know if you do relate Airbnb to what they're doing. But now everything in that line is already related to Airbnb. You get it? Because their action has made the name to become useful. Also, if someone has already been in the niche doing what you're doing, now if you are a pioneer, it's easier for you to say, "Oh, I can bear anything in my hand. I can." And when I start doing the thing, what I'm doing will influence the name. For example, Twitter. Now we have. Oh, let me tweet. I tweeted. I tweeted.
Yeah.
In as much as the name X, I tweeted before Twitter became Twitter. There was nothing as tweet in English language. So Twitter
Right.
as a name made the tweet to become something in English language. Now,
Yep.
despite the fact they have changed their names, than this, the tweeting thing. Oh, he tweeted on X. You see, the tweeting thing is still there. So it's because of they being a pioneer. But if you're not a pioneer in a field, somehow it's also good for you to bear a name that when people hear, they could relate to what you're saying and say,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay, you're doing this." I hope I'm clear enough. Am I?
No, it is. It is very clear.
Okay.
It's
So,
very so to kind of answer your question, what is the name? So originally when I started posting videos back in November again on my YouTube channel, the name Life on Corporate came to me. But Life on Corporate was more so a brand, a personal brand name. But now I don't like that for my personal brand name should be my name. But I still like the name Uncorporate, and that name I made up from my head. It just so happened when I Googled it, some people use the name, but it's a made up word. I don't think it's an actual dictionary word. I like Uncorporate because I actually asked ChatGPT to give me some names, and that was one of the names that it recommended. But I like that word. It's a made up word, but to me, it can stand for so many things, right? You're saying uncorporate as an anti corporate or like breaking the mold, kind of being a new being in this body that's known to be so rigid, the corporate world known to be so rigid and just, you follow the status quo, but you're kind of breaking that mold. So I like what that stands for. And I think it can be, as I evolve in my personal brand journey. And again, this was my initial thinking. Now I don't like the name for a personal brand name. So
so
maybe I
but
relate.
I understand
But for,
what you say.
you
Sorry,
get what I'm saying? I like it. Go ahead.
understand what you're saying, really. You're saying that you want your personal brand to be on your Kibe.
That's what I
Hello.
see a lot of people do. They make it their name, Onyeka Uche.
Okay.
But
So, and then you want the business to be life on corporates.
so I want the business to incorporate the name on corporates. It's no longer life because it's not a personal brand. Isn't and like you said, you can kind of make up names and people will then attach your brand to the name. Um, but I still like the word on corporate. So I don't know if I should do something like
I'm getting you, but I'm struggling a little with the uncorporate thing because you introduced it to me the last time we spoke. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around the uncorporate stuff. Okay.
all right. So I want to touch on how Casey mentioned how you can relate, how you can have a name that relates to your business. So if your business is focused on pets, your name has pet something or something that has to do with pets in the name, right? Using that as an example. Or alternatively, you can just create a meaning and attach it to a made up name that doesn't typically relate to that business. And there's probably a name for this. If leave it down in the comments. This is probably a theory or some type of business concept already, but definitely let me know if it is down in the comments down below. So we were talking about this, and I'm glad he brought it up because that's something that I've always thought about when I think about like business names or something that I'm creating and putting out there for the world to consume or to buy or whatever. So when he used the example of Airbnb, for people who don't know like what a B&B is or bed and breakfast, and especially that name Air, that is a completely foreign name to you. Or even better, using an example like Twitter and tweeting, right? Who would have thought that that would have been the name of a social media site, right? Or like he said, now tweeting is actually a word. To tweet or whatever is now a word that's in the dictionary. Twitter was a made up name of a social media site. Like, when you think of, before, when you thought of Twitter, you might have thought of a bird, like twittering or whatever. They created a name and they then associated it with their brand, and that became their brand meaning, their brand identity. So I've also thought of, okay, do I just create a whole brand new name? But with that, I think it is, and to provide another example, Uber, right? Like Uber, nobody would have associated that name with a rideshare service. Nobody would have associated that name with a rideshare service. But hey, when you think of Uber now, you instantly think of ride sharing, right? You instantly think of getting a car to get you from point A to point B. So I also thought of that when thinking about a name, but I didn't decide to go that route. I did decide to go with, okay, creating a name that has something to do with the field of the business that I'm trying to create. And when I'm thinking about this, I'm making this video about about a month and about maybe like 6 weeks after this call. Just being transparent with you all, like I have been on this channel, I'm trying to like figure out how to do all of this. So I definitely think going forward, I've already had at this point in time, I've already had 3 coaching calls, but going forward, once I'm able to catch up, I definitely want to do these reaction, if I continue to use this concept, these reaction videos, or these kind of, I guess you would call it a reaction to my own business call, or explanation videos, much sooner after that call. So it's a little bit more like real time, because now some of these things that we've talked about, have already, like I already have a name for the business now. You get what I mean? So just thinking about ways I can make these calls better for myself and also for you guys who are watching. But let's jump back in.
On corporates. So let's brainstorm for some seconds, or for some minutes. What else do you think you could add to the corporates that will make it sound like a step in the right direction?
Okay, so I wanted to hop back in here and explain what I mean by uncorporate. And I'll probably make a whole separate video about this because I never really introduced what uncorporate means. So when he's talking about, like, I didn't tell him that name before. We had a consultation call that was actually like 2 hours long, and we were just I was introducing, why I wanted his services and what my goal was with everything. And I never told him like Life on Corporate was a brand name that I was thinking of. It was kind of like a business name at the time that's turned into a personal brand name. But so Life on Corporate really came from me trying to decide how I wanted, like the type of content that I wanted to put out. What I wanted it to be focused around, like me as a pharmacist, me working from home, but then also like, kind of incorporating a little bit more lifestyle content into that to show like, you can work in the corporate world, but like that's not all that I am. I wanted to also share stories about how like I'm working in the corporate field, but I feel like I'm not like a corporate girly. Like I'm not like your conventional, or I don't know if other people feel this way. Like I just feel like I'm just a girl, like putting on this facade, working in this corporate field, and using corporate jargon. So I wanted to kind of showcase the balance between working in corporate and trying to navigate the whole like corporate world, and trying to figure out like how to balance my career and balance motherhood and balance building my business, which I think is still going to be a part of this channel. But I liked Uncorporate specifically because it could evolve with my brand as I evolved. So that word uncorporate, like, it's a made up word, obviously, but it could mean so many different things to different people. It could mean like you're trying to break the mold of the corporate world. It could mean you're trying to, you could mean you as an entrepreneur, not kind of working a typical corporate job. It could mean you outside of corporate. To translate the word, on means typically not corporate, right? So not corporate. So your life outside of the corporate world. So I liked uncorporate because it had so many meanings behind it. So I explained that to him a little bit, and he kind of understood it better from there.
What else can we add to it? I don't know. When I think of, or maybe I just made that up, but to me, that's what I think about when I think about their name. So, like, I still want
that makes a lot of sense if you think about it that way. That makes a lot of sense. That's stepping into their career. Okay. If you as a neutral person can make that inference, that means that there is a point there. For example, Udemy. When you say Udemy, there's something to actually think about in Udemy and what they offer. But now when you say Udemy, people now know what Udemy really is.
Yeah.
So but like I said, there's also the advantage that when you make up a name, the name, if the name is in the line of what you're doing, it just helps people to relate quickly to what you're doing. So it's just faster.
Yeah.
So saying that, I would think that you might be open to having other names that are not that are not corporate. You might
definitely.
be open to having other names. So broaden your mind to think that, oh, okay, I could go with these, I could go with this. First of all, what we'll ask is, what is the first thing you want people to say when they hear about your company? What is the first thing you want them to think? If I call names like, let me call some names and you tell me what you think. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Soccer. Football.
This is football, not soccer. I know you're in America, but please, can you respect the rest of the world? So, Michael Jackson, what do you think?
Hip hop. Oh, not hip hop, but music. Like music, greatest of all time. Oh yeah.
Music, dance. Okay, you see, he called him greatest of all time. Okay, people can argue that, but I mean, he's also top there. Okay. What's this guy's name? Mission Impossible. But you know what I'm talking about? Like when you say you call a major actor like Tom Hanks or Tom Brooks or stuff, people will say, right? So you see, there is always something that these guys' names evoke in the mind of people. It's also good that we are thinking, what does my name evoke in the mind of people? What does my name evoke in the mind of people? And saying that towards a company, it would be great to have something your company's name evoke. So what would you want people to invoke, to think about when they hear a company's name? All the things you've said now, do you have something in your head?
I have the name. So that's all I have for now. Maybe the rest will come. So right now, I have nothing.
Okay, keep thinking.
Yeah.
At least we are getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So what is the alternative for seeing that it's also professional life is something that we can explore, right?
Okay, maybe, yeah.
That's why people can really relate to what you're saying. So yeah, we are going. See, when you're talking about name, you will hear something that sounds stupid in your head. Don't laugh. Yeah, don't laugh over them or don't laugh off them. sometimes the best names come from things that people think they're stupid, because
Yeah.
that stupid thing can even get attention, and people are like, oh, okay, I like this. You get what I'm saying? That
Right.
thing that we call stupid can get people's attention, and they'll be like, wow, okay, I think this is good. So let's think about it.
Yeah.
What can you think? Does it sound up?
Yeah.
It's not up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad it's not up to you. Write it down. You cannot build around there.
Okay, so here we were brainstorming names a little bit more. I did take out some of the brainstorming here just because I'm not quite ready to share what the actual business is. Maybe at some point I will be, but just bear with me. So if it seems choppy, that is why. But basically, we were just going back and forth with different. Well, he actually had an idea of a name or a word to use, and I didn't like it. Basically, I didn't like the name. But you know, I tried to play around with it. But yeah, I didn't like it. So that's what you're seeing here.
Huh?
No, I'm just laughing.
Yeah, laugh. No, it's good to laugh. Seriously, I've seen. I've seen something like this where people brainstorm about names, and the names are so awkward, and it gets out there, it flies more. And some names you hear for that's if you're in the internet business stuff, you hear things like Kajabi, one of the internet service platform, Kajabi. You hear Sumo, AppSumo. I mean, these are some kind of crazy names. You'll be surprised. You go and look for the thing, medification, and see that somebody's already answering it.
Maybe.
It's very possible. Okay, so let's keep the name aside and just move on. Let's keep the name, but at least we've gotten some awareness in our head, thinking about, oh, this team needs a name, and then these are the possible names we are thinking about. I know that both you and I, where we are, we could just stay and start thinking, oh, okay, look at what this name. If you go back now, a thought has been initiated in your head. Eventually, you're going to have more ideas coming to you. It's now something that has been set rolling in your mind. So let's move on.